Okay, so it's official. I feel like I've been taking acting seriously for about 1 year in Los Angeles. So today I want to talk about what I've learned as an actor in that 1 year that I really think can help up-and-coming actors, as well as some things that just help me with life in general. What's going on? My name is Cole Connor. I'm an artist and entrepreneur, and I was put here to do two things: create and inspire. Thanks for being here. Let's get into it. Quick backstory for new folks. I was a rapper in South Carolina from age 18 to 28. Did a few short films as a rapper and of course music videos. I moved to LA to pursue music and acting in 2021. Took my first acting classes with Leslie Kahn in 2022 and just finished a Meisner intensive with Elizabeth Mesnick in July. Highly recommend, by the way. You can check out my thoughts I made as a noob here last year. Since I moved to LA, I've been a part of a lot of collaborations. My own music videos, short films, commercials, and even an independent film. I've met and collaborated with some amazing and inspiring people, and it feels like it's just cranking up. I feel like I say that every year for the past 10 years, but it's just what it feels like. After about 7 months of figuring out what I should do in this brand new world as an actor, I was able to find a manager, and since then I've been doing a good bit of auditions with at least a couple every week. Less now with the strike, but it really changed the game. So today I want to talk about what I've learned as an actor in that 1 year that I really think can help up-and-coming actors, as well as some things that just help me with life in general. Being in a big city helps. You can say what you want about being in a smaller town, being a big fish in a small pond, but moving to a big city changed the game for me. My plan since I was 20 years old was to become the big fish in the small pond in Columbia, South Carolina, and then move to a bigger city, whether it was New York or LA. I feel like I did that, but I do wonder what it would have been like if I would have moved earlier. What if I would have moved at 21 instead of 28? I can't really say that I regret it because I was able to build a business and learn the skills that honestly have made me thrive out here. You can look at the video here about what I learned in my 20s to kind of show you how that journey happened. I was able to learn photo, video, and build out my businesses, Bow Los Angeles and Apollo's Bow. I use the money that I make so that I can make videos like this, so that I can be an actor, so that I can make music and not worry as much about money. Before you move to a big city, please make sure that you have lots of savings and ideally a high income skill, because you need a flexible schedule if you want to be an actor, and a high income skill. You don't have to have it right off the bat, and maybe you never get it, that's fine. A lot of actors that I find, maybe they don't have it at first, but then they kind of, shift to a different area of the industry that isn't necessarily acting, and that becomes their moneymaker, and a lot of times they fall in love with it, which is totally okay. So it may take you time to find this income skill and a flexible job, flexible schedule. That's okay. I think this is the last video plug, but I do talk about high income skills here. Hopefully you can survive, thrive, and not be homeless with or without your acting career blowing up. So you don't want to depend so much on the money from it, in my opinion, because it may take a while. It may not, but it may. I think that making more than minimum wage and controlling your own schedule helps you not lose any roles or worry about the money while you're doing these cheap roles that don't pay a lot. Because you have to put in a lot of work that just doesn't pay. The relationships you build, you might need to do free independent films or short films to build up your portfolio and reels and all these things. And you don't want to be stressing these people about money because they probably don't have it. After you got those two things, I would join an acting class immediately, a beginner acting class. This will help you see if you really even like acting. Are you willing to put in the work that it takes? Do you want to continue down this path? Because acting, despite popular belief, is not easy at all, mentally or physically. And it is totally okay to take a class, learn from it, and realize, I don't really like acting. I can't recommend enough the two that I've taken. Leslie Kahn, all of her classes are great. Elizabeth Mesnick, all of her classes are great. I think they're both fantastic teachers. They are very different, and they have different styles. I think I lean towards Meisner in general, but it could be just because it's the most recent one I've done. I don't know. Yeah, I highly recommend both of those. The intensives, though they were very intense, there were several new people in each of the ones that I took. So if you really just want to dive in head first, I do recommend taking an intensive. One with Elizabeth Mesnick, it was the Meisner intensive, and with Leslie Kahn, I took the comedy intensive. And it's a lot, but it's worth it. And then, it's pretty much just a month and a half of your time, and you decide if this is something you want to keep going with. Bouncing off acting classes, I just want to tell you some of the things that I learned in acting class that I'm not saying don't take acting classes, don't just listen to me, but these are things that I learned that maybe you could take with you into acting class, and they could maybe help you just do better. Thinking your character's thoughts. When you're reading a script, you're in a play, you're in a commercial, if you actually think the thoughts that they would think, that helps you stay in character and not fall out and be like, oh shit, I forgot my line, or oh shit this, oh shit that. Be in character. If you have a line, I'm not gonna go too deep into it, but just think your character's thoughts. Watching other actors helps. The first class that I took was almost all on Zoom. And yes, I did watch actors and actors watched me, but it was so different in the Meisner Intensive, just watching these people grow and go through their emotions and seeing where they needed work and then seeing how they grew. It was such a beautiful thing to watch, and it helped me by watching these other people grow too. In ways that you can't really, like I wouldn't learn the same if it was me going through it, but watching other people is really good. So watch other actors. Acting classes taught me a lot about human connection and eye contact. I think a lot of times in the real world, we tend to not want to stare each other in the eye for too long. It's very vulnerable. It's very like you see someone's soul. A lot of times especially the Meisner acting class, that's why I recommend it, because it helps you like connect with your actor, with your fellow actor and your fellow human, and helps you like be a human. I think that would be the first one I would recommend, is the Meisner. Yeah, there's many times many students, including myself, will get teary-eyed or cry just staring at your partner, whether it's a guy or girl, young or old, it doesn't matter. Just connecting with people on like a human level. I think that's a lot of what acting is about, is really no judgment of your character, just being in the moment in this imaginary circumstance and being human and being present. So yeah, acting's taught me how to be just a better human and connect better just in regular, even conversation. Be the character, not a version of yourself. I think sometimes I as well would be like, what would I do in this situation? And maybe that works for some people, but I think if you do that too much, you just become a version of yourself and you're not as believable as the character. So I guess what I'm saying is it's okay to kind of get yourself in a space where like, I'm imagining that something just happened that's crazy, and so you can connect to how you would feel on that, but don't forget who the character is too. That makes sense. And then this is like the definition of Meisner. Pretty much the way they look at acting is behaving truthfully under imaginary circumstances. So don't take it so far to where it's so real that it like traumatizes you, whether like if it's something really intense. But I thought that was just a great definition of behaving truthfully under imaginary circumstances. After you move to a big city, you've got some money, you're stable, you have a job, you take an acting class. A lot of acting classes will tell you this, but let's just go into what you actually need to do to start getting work. You want to get a headshot. It's the first thing. You may get referrals from headshots from your acting classes. Hopefully you do. Recommend getting them ASAP. You don't have to spend a ton of money. You can spend a ton of money. Some people do like multiple looks, and sometimes it could go up to like $1,000 or thousands of dollars to get headshots done. Or you could just find a friend who's a photographer. Y'all could do some sort of trade or something. Whatever you do, just get it done. Make sure it's legit, professional. Here's what mine currently is. And I'm planning to get some more done soon with some different looks. Right now mine's so plain, but it has been getting me auditions. So plain as in I just have a black t-shirt on, so it's not like a bunch of different looks. It's just supposed to be kind of like imagine me how you want to imagine me. You need a reel, R-E-E-L. I'll throw up some clips here of some of my reel. I got lucky and I had some music videos and shorts, etc. that gave me enough to pull from to create a reel. Not everyone starting out has that. In fact, most people don't. I recommend, if you don't, finding some monologue that fits you. A lot of times in acting classes, especially with the first one I did with Leslie Kahn, that was kind of one of the things, is finding the type of roles that you'll probably be auditioning for. And so you would find monologues that people would probably want you for. It doesn't have to be long. You can film it yourself. You can make it super cool and cinematic, but you don't have to. You just want to have something where you can show people, even if it's student films, that you're, legit and trying at this. So you have a headshot, you have a reel, etc. This is what you need to get started. It took me a second to figure this out, but the next thing is you got to sign up for a bunch of websites, and they cost money. Hence why you need a job. You want to sign up for Backstage, Casting Networks, Casting Frontier, and Actors Access. 3 of those are monthly memberships. Gonna go with, what are they, maybe like $50 total, maybe more. But then one of those was an upfront payment of like $250, I think, Casting Frontier. So you need a couple $100 to get started with this. You can sign up non-union with no management, and you can start getting roles ASAP, especially if you're in a big city and close to universities. This will help you build a legit reel And sometimes people just reach out to you because of the way you look. I had an independent film, which I was so proud to be a part of and so excited for, that filmed last year, and they just really liked my long hair. It's for a 70s look, and they reached out to me, and I was just so happy to be a part of it. So that happened, and that they found me on Backstage. A lot of them can be confusing, etc., but you just make sure you have as many pictures as you can. If you only have one headshot, I recommend getting a friend or the same photographer or whatever, just take some more portraits of you to give you a couple different styles. I already had all this because I was a hip hop artist and I, YouTube and already took photos myself all the time. But make sure you just have plenty to choose from. You want to get your like official sizes for like suits and pants and shoes and all that stuff. And what else? Your weight. They just ask you for basic information, so it shouldn't be too difficult. Just make sure you fill out as much as you can. And Backstage is more amateur, I would say. There are some legit people on there, but just beware of scams. I got scammed one time where I went out and did a job and they never sent me the money, so be careful about that. Actors Access, Casting Networks, and Casting Frontier seem more legit as far as like the industry standard, where there's like SAG roles and lots of union stuff and more student films. And I would say the top two are Actors Access and Casting Networks. And if I had to pick one, I would go with Actors Access. Once you're on these websites and you're actually getting some auditions, maybe you send in some self-tapes. You check out my video here on self-tapes, and I have more videos about this kind of stuff coming. So just stay tuned and subscribe if you want more acting type stuff, or comment below and let me know, because these are things that took me a while to learn. So I'm just excited to share. Let me see here. Once you get these self-tapes, take them very seriously. There are people that are in casting, whether they're students or not, they remember you. If you say you're gonna do it, you don't do it. You can get like a black mark by your name, like this person doesn't take it seriously. If you send in something, treat it like you got the role. Treat it like it's very serious, like you're available on the dates. Don't fuck around with these people's time. It can affect you negatively. And I did that a couple times when I thought I could do it, but then it didn't seem as legit as I wanted, so I didn't really follow through. And I shouldn't have done it. So I recommend not doing it. Don't submit to something that you feel like isn't legit or whatever. Do your research before you submit to something. Yeah, make sure you want to do it. That matters a lot. So with that being said, you want to take auditions very seriously. By that, I mean you need to create a routine where you can actually practice and be fully prepared and have a quiet, safe space to do your self-tapes. Currently, when I get a role, especially more of a speaking role, for commercial roles, it's not really as important because the lines are so short. But if I have several pages of scenes that I need to memorize, I immediately print it out. I go through, I highlight my character's lines. That just helps me memorize it a little more. Then I go through, I read it a couple times, the full thing. If I have this full script, I read the full script. I've made that mistake before. My manager got on to me about that, aka always read the full script. But I read everything, and then I use this app, which I'm making a video about this app as well, called Cold Read. And I pretty much record myself saying each role, and then I listen to it back so I can memorize my parts. It's pretty much like a teleprompter kind of. So you say your line, and it will play back to you the line of the person that you're talking to. And so you can like have a full-on conversation with the app, and it helps you memorize it really well. So I do that over and over and over again until I have it completely memorized, and then I do the self-tape. And as far as like your actual self-tape, quickly just make sure the lighting is good. Make sure you have a decent camera. It could probably just be your phone. Don't have a bunch of distracting stuff in the background. Don't have your cat or your dog running around. Make sure they can hear you clearly and there's not a lot of distracting sounds. You just want them to be focused on you and not on anything in the background that's distracting. We're almost done. Having an agent or manager helps. I can't lie that things completely changed when I got a manager, and I got so many more auditions. And I'm not saying it should be your main priority, but you should be doing everything you can to find some sort of representation, because it like unlocks a door for you that you don't have, which I kind of think is really unfair in general with how the industry works, but it's just how it works. So you need to find someone who can get you these roles, and hopefully you find someone that really believes in you, that really thinks that you can succeed and takes you as seriously as you take yourself, but don't let them down. That's really important. I have so many video plugs in here, but I did just do a video about how to find an acting manager, And I use Talent Link on Actors Access, and Casting Networks has its own version. But that is a way to do it. But you can also email a bunch of them. You can go to workshops. There's all different types of ways. Just don't sign with someone just to sign. That's my advice. Just sign with someone that you feel like you vibe with and you connect with as well. Once you get a manager, or even if you don't, try not to focus on the lack of roles that you may be getting or auditions you may be getting. Just keep practicing and keep collaborating. Just collaborate and make things together, and just help you practice and they become your friends. So it's really important to collaborate with the people around here. That's usually one of the reasons why you move to a bigger city, no matter if it's just a city like close to you that's big, or if it's like in Atlanta or New York or Chicago or LA. Collaborate with other creatives. It's so important, and you never know, that could be your partner for years and years to come, that y'all make millions of dollars together. You don't know. So don't just sit in your room and not connect with people. Connect with people. Last thing, I just recommend reading, watching movies, studying scenes, really studying how people act. And once you take acting classes, you'll kind of see a lot more the strategies people use. And you'll also see how doable it is, and how a lot of actors may not be that much better than you. They just kind of got the right opportunities at the right time, or they were ready. Who knows what it is, but you see that it's possible. You can do it. So, and reading just helps, I think, with our mental. It's inspiring, and you can learn a lot and just broaden your perspective, your brain. I think that's what acting is so much of, is just broadening your perspective, having no judgment, and just diving into these imaginary circumstances. The more that you can, soak in of the world, of experiences, of books, of movies, I think you'll be better off. All right, so I feel like that was a lot. That was probably a really long video. It's what I've learned acting in 1 year. If you want me to make more acting content, please let me know. My name is Cole Connor. I'm an artist and entrepreneur. This is the Creative Survival Guide. I'm pretty much just telling you my journey. I'm putting it out there. I'm putting my art out there. And I hope that y'all like it and y'all are inspired and it helps you in some way. So yeah, if you want more, let me know.
I just tell them I got no niche. Please don't speak if you don't know me. I'm so tired of living low-key. Now I'm all in your grill and got you all in your feelings. I just tell them I got no niche. Please don't speak if you don't know me. I'm so tired of living low-key.